Please help me to reach 1,000 subscribers. The first crack didn't come from a text or a confession. It came from a laugh that wasn't meant for me. We were standing in her cousin's backyard, late afternoon sun sinking low. Everyone squeezed together for a group photo. I had my arm around my wife's waist, out of habit, out of love. The photographer counted down, and just before the shutter clicked, she leaned toward me and whispered sharp and low, "Move. You're ruining the picture." Not joking. Not playful. A sneer. I froze, heat rushing to my ears. I stepped aside automatically like I'd been trained to do it. The camera clicked. Everyone laughed. No one noticed my face. Except him. I saw the way her coworker Evan smiled at her, like he knew something I didn't. That night, I lay awake replaying the moment. It was small, almost nothing, but it lodged itself in my chest like a splinter. My wife used to pull me closer for photos, not push me out of the frame. I told myself I was being sensitive. We'd been married 9 years. People change. Stress does things. I let it go. Or I tried to. The signs didn't scream. They whispered. Her phone was suddenly always face down. She'd step outside to take calls, saying it was work stuff. Missed calls showed up on our shared phone bill at odd hours, numbers I didn't recognize. When I asked, she shrugged. Probably spam. She started dressing differently for work. Not better. Just deliberate. Lipstick reapplied before leaving the house. Perfume she hadn't worn in years. And she stopped looking at me when I talked. I began questioning myself instead of her. Maybe I was boring. Maybe I'd let routine dull me. I replayed our early years, road trips, late-night talks, the way she used to laugh into my shoulder. I wondered where that man had gone. The night I really started to suspect something was wrong, she came home smiling at her phone. I asked who it was. "No one," she said too quickly, locking the screen. My stomach dropped. Not because of the answer, but because of how familiar that tone was. Defensive. Guarded. A week later, she fell asleep on the couch with her phone still lit in her hand. I didn't plan to look. I swear that part matters. But a notification buzzed, and the name on the screen wasn't spam. Evan. I can't stop thinking about how you look today. My hand shook as I scrolled. Messages about lunches that ran long. Inside jokes I wasn't part of. Complaints about me, how I was always there, how she felt crowded at home. And then one line that burned itself into my brain. "I wish you'd pushed him out of more than just the picture." I sat there in the dark, my wife breathing softly beside me, and felt something inside me collapse. Not explode. Collapse. Quietly. The next few days were torture. Every memory felt poisoned. Every smile from her felt rehearsed. I watched her move through our house like a guest who'd overstayed her welcome. When I finally confronted her, I didn't yell. That surprised both of us. "I know about Evan," I said. She went pale. Sat down. Covered her face. "It didn't mean to happen," she whispered. "I was lonely. You were always tired." He listened. I wanted to scream that I had listened, that I'd been there, that I was standing in front of her right now, breaking. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. "Why did you humiliate me in front of everyone?" She looked up, eyes wet. "Because I didn't want him to think we were still close." That hurt more than the messages. She cried. She apologized. She said it hadn't gone that far, though even she didn't sound sure what that meant. I saw guilt. I also saw justification. A story she'd been telling herself long before she told it to me. In the end, there was no dramatic exit. No slammed doors. Just a quiet decision. I left. The last image I have of us isn't from our wedding album. It's from that backyard photo, me half out of frame, smiling without knowing why. Now, when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't see the man she pushed aside. I see someone who learned a brutal lesson. Love without respect isn't love. It's erosion. And I refuse to disappear quietly from my own life ever again.